and welcome to Super Rate. I'm Lauren Bertocchini and he's Don Perignon. Tonight, we conclude our three-part series on films that smoulder with a look at Paul Schrader's fantasy thriller, Cat People. Don?
My retro choice this week is Paul Schrader's 1982 sleazy horror fantasy Cat People, a reimagining of Jacques Tourneur's, I think, overrated 1930s film of the same name. Cat People follows a young woman, played by Natasha Kinski, who discovers that she is of a race of mythical beings who turn into panthers when aroused. Torn uneasily between art house abstractions of sensuality and the commercial prudish metaphor at its heart, Cat People could only have come from the guilty, perverted mind of Paul Schrader. Though not entirely successful, Cat People is a nonetheless fascinating work of eroticism.
Is it though?
Oh yeah.
I really don't see, how is this erotic?
How is it erotic?
Yeah.
How is it? Well,
How is it? Tell me about.
Okay, well, the entire basis behind it is essentially this idea of like arousal being so powerful and passionate that it turns into an animal. Like.
Yeah, I get that, but I just feel like that's just it's just about sex.
Well, yeah, but I think Schrader, to a certain extent, because the way he shoots it is in deep shadow and these kind of like bright, almost expressionistic lighting occasionally, he definitely pushes the eroticism, and it's not entirely successful because it's full of incest and panthers and weird dream sequences, and Natasha Kinski looks too much like her dad for me to really find her attractive, you know. I'd cut that. But, yeah, but you don't find it erotic.
No, I don't know, it just seems... Okay, so it makes me think about how there's all this discussion about Paul Schrader being somebody who didn't grow up with films.
Yeah.
So he came to films as an adult.
Yeah, his first
movie
was like The Nutty Professor or some shit.
Yeah, because his dad was a really strict Calvinist, so he wasn't allowed to watch movies. And so he hasn't grown up or had like an adolescent connection with film, which is strange because to me this film feels so adolescent.
Yeah, well, but I don't think that comes from, I think that comes from the religion, the fact that, okay, Mike Scorsese, who we often worked with, right? I think Paul Schrader is very much torn between these kind of dirty old man impulses in his brain and the deep, like, religious guilt at the back of it, which I think makes it so interesting because it is a very, you're right, like adolescent, like idea of sexuality, but at the same time, it's so prudish, and it's actually, I think it really fears women's sexuality. And
but that's the thing. Like, I feel like it's trying to have it both ways.
Exactly.
It's like, look at this sexy thing. Oh no, but girls, oh my God, they have got their period.
Cats.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I think that's what makes it fascinating. I don't really think it entirely works, but I think that push and pull, which I also think kind of expresses itself in the way that, like, on the one hand, this has a weird fantasy where she sees all these panthers on trees, and Matt McDowell like licks his lips a lot in it. But on the other hand, has a David Bowie theme song. The commercial and the art house are pulling each other, just like those two things are pulling each other. I think it makes it so interesting to watch.
Okay, it makes it interesting to think about.
And watch.
I don't know.
And watch.
So I think my problem was that I wanted to get into this film. I wanted to like buy the cats. I wanted to buy it all and just have fun. And just like have fun. I wanted to just have fun, but I kept being aware of the film constantly, and it just kind of ruined. It didn't ruin it, but I didn't get the experience that I wanted out of it.
I see that, but don't you feel like sometimes in this kind of movie, and I kind of agree with you, but when you see that stuff, it's kind of pulling you out because it's so strange. I kind of get pulled into the vision of this crazy person behind the camera to a certain extent. And I love Paul Schrader. I think he's an amazing director, but I think he's also like a bit of a dirty old man. And I think it's so interesting to watch that vision.
Dirty 17-year-old.
He's a dirty 17-year-old in an old man's body.
Yeah,
follow him on Facebook. He's a wild ride. He talks about dicks all the time.
Don't doubt it. Don't doubt that.
None of us doubt it.
But yeah, I don't know. I just found I was just aware of the film all the time. Like, I just can't get one part out of my head where Malcolm McDowell turns into a panther and tries to kill a hooker, and she like slides down the staircase and gets to the bottom, flips over, and her bra just goes ping.
Absolutely.
Like,
it's gross.
Reason.
It's gross and lewd.
But I want it to be like all that way.
You want to be like, yeah, objectification. Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah.
No, I'm
You're
like,
such a lech.
It's trying to do all things. It's trying to have its cake and eat it too, and I don't like that.
And I like it.
Be all or nothing. I don't know, it was just a bit too like half-half. Like, I laughed at it and at the like bra popping scene. I was like, that's hilarious. But because I feel, knowing Schrader, that he, maybe I'm giving him too much credit, that he's like doing it deliberately and taking the piss.
I think he's doing both. I think on the one hand he is, but I think he's like, I think he's telling the crew, he's like, guys, we're taking the piss out, but behind the camera he's jerking off, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
And that makes that push and pull. I like it. I like this movie.
I would have appreciated maybe, yeah, I don't know, more.
More.
Just go balls deep.
Jesus Christ. Discussion over. Out. We're out.
Some of the camera work was so lovely, though.
It's beautiful.
That
It's
I was like,
beautiful
ooh,
movie.
this looks very nice. I can't get that shot out of my mind where she goes to her brother's church and there's that like real high angle and this crazy carpet and all these like colorful chairs. And the whole like purpose of it is just for her to walk in and some lady to be like, oh, he's not here. And then she walks out again.
Yo, it's so pretty.
But it's just so nice.
Well, the reasons you don't like it are the reasons I find it interesting.
Yeah, I do find it interesting. It's not that I dislike it. I'm just like, yeah.
No, that's a very articulate
very
opinion.
Eloquent.
Yeah. They don't call
Yeah.
you Eloquent Lauren for nothing.
They don't. And that's why. Well, thanks for watching the final installment of our Films That Smoulder series. We hope you can get some sleep. In our next series of films, we look at biopics, starting with Jonathan Tulepsky's Churchill.
Good night.
Good night.